Hello everyone and welcome to the second day of GUADEC. We are in track 2 and now we are going to start the day with our first presentation for today. Our first speaker is attending the event remotely. He is Aditya Singh and he is going to talk about building a GNOME community in a country adapting to the open source culture. Aditya, the stage is yours.
Okay, am I audible right now?
Yes, you are great. So feel free to continue.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Aditya Singh. I'm from Nepal, and so I'm very excited for today's talks. It is a great pride for me representing our community, Gnome Nepal, and also Nepal from here in Nepal, Kathmandu. It is midnight right now in here, and then yeah, like most of the country is asleep and I'm awake. So, is my camera also open or only my presentation? Okay, let me open my camera also.
So far. If you'd like to open the camera, feel free to do so.
Okay, sure. I think I'm visible right now. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'm moving forward with my presentation. Okay, so what am I going to talk about today is the title is building a GNOME community in a country adapting the open source culture. Here, the country is Nepal, and I'm going to talk about how the journey of GNOME Nepal started, how has been the journey, and the opportunities, the challenges, and everything. So, talking about it, our first agenda is like the topics today I'm going to talk about are like first about me, then there will be background of how the open source culture actually in this country is going on or it was in the past, and how the GNOME Nepal started, the challenges, the opportunities, and the community as if as of now, how it is right now. So starting with me, I am Aditya Singh. I am a Python software developer. I do backends. So I work on government projects here in Nepal. I also use an open source framework that is Udu, which is for the uh, ERP systems. I'm an student too, undergrad students. So if I'm talking about open source connectivity or the my connections to GNOME, then in 2023 I got a great opportunity to lead the local team here in Nepal to organize our own GNOME Asia Summit. And also in 2024, right now I'm leading the initiatives for GNOME Nepal, which is the Nepal's first GNOME dedicated community. And yeah, I think this is the only one here in the country. So talking about the background here in Nepal, so the start of actually the start of open source initiatives started from the establishment of KU open source community, which is in Kathmandu University, and then after that, Post Nepal was started. Post Nepal actually was started to cover the whole country and develop the open source initiatives in the country. And then there are other open source community too in the valley. Actually the valley is the capital city. It is made up of Kathmandu, Bhaktapur, and Lalitpur, and combinedly we say it as a valley. So in valley there are other communities such as Nosk and Osak, like NCIT open source community, Oskol open source community, and also there was Cathos. Now see, the background is like this. The post Nepal community, which was very active till some years back, has now been not much active. So the whole open source initiatives has been slowing, and the new generations, new students, they don't know properly about the open source and also about the projects. Like not about Linux projects, not about GNOME projects, and anything like that. And the communities that are active right now, like KUSC, NOS, Candosec, they are like situated, they are concentrated in their college. They are trying to like represent other colleges and other cities of the country too, but there are some limitations as they have been started in the by the students of the college. So yeah, there have been some limitations, and the most active one is KUSC right now, but it is outside of the valley. So they are facing difficulty to include everyone, but they are trying. So there was a need for open source community inside the valley, and the community that can actually represent Nepal and take forward the initiatives in the whole country. So the situation is like this, that everything is centralized in the capital city, and if we develop something from the capital city, then only it gets to spread all over the country. So yeah, so there was actually the need of GNOME Nepal. And then, so how it started. So the start of GNOME Nepal, it actually kick started right from like GNOME Asia Summit last year in December. We were actually organizing the summit, and then a thought came up, like there is actually a need for a better community, a community that can represent the better initiatives and greater area, greater masses, and to other cities of the country. So we thought we will request to the foundation. At that time, we were like actually working with the foundation members for the organizing. So we thought we will request for them to support us to start the community. And the first time the idea came up right there. And then what actually kick-started the GNOME Nepal community establishment was like after the summit, we were actually still requesting, and in the process for the approval for the community. And then there was like GNOME 46 was released, mm, and it was codenamed Kathmandu. So it caused huge like hype, and it was a really great news for all of us in Nepal. The way we were doing the hard works we put in the summit earlier and everything. So it was a great news, and the way that we have been, the Nepali community have been rewarded by the foundation, by the GNOME project, it means a lot. So we actually said, okay, now this is where we start the community. This is signaling us to start the community, so we have to do this. So actually at that time, like I was alone at that time. I was requesting still to like ask to the foundation. At that time I was constantly texting Christy. I was in constant contact with her about the community, and then when I got the approval, like she said, yeah, we are fine with it. You can talk to our brand manager, who is Caroline. You can ask her what should will be the logo like and everything, and you guys can start. So then actually we thought we have to start this. And then though start, it was because there was a need of GNOME dedicated community in the country. Uh, Also, there is like a need for a global exposure, that the Nepali community, the Nepali contributors, they need to have, like they have been in the country, but they aren't actually very much informed about the scene that is actually going all over globally. Very less number of people that are actually connected globally. So we had to provide this opportunity to everyone. And another thing that started GNOME Nepal was like the community which will actually focus on not just starting our own project and doing it for Nepal, but also for the global open source projects. And also we have to make many open source projects in the context like we have to localize the projects so that more Nepali users are inspired and motivated to use it. And the personal reason for me to start the community was like the love for the community initiatives, the love I got back from Gnome foundation members and everyone involved in the project, and also the feeling that I got after Gnome Asia Summit, which was really great. It was great satisfaction. With great satisfaction, the feeling was very good. So we had to do this. Now, after the start, like what were the challenges? So the challenges started right from the before we started. Like so, there is actually right now no there is lack of open source urgency inside the valley. There has been some time that there hasn't been a big level initiatives taken inside the Kathmandu valley or in the Nepal, like actually targeting the GNOME project or the Linux project or anything related to this. So the challenge was like we had to start this, so we have to go from like actually from the scratch or from very uh, starting page. So one of the very active open source community, as I already mentioned, KUSC, it is outside of the valley, so it wasn't actually able to able to provide sessions to the people inside of the valley. So it couldn't like motivate people to use open source projects or Linux or GNOME projects. So the situation right now is also that people who are using Ubuntu, Fedora, and distros which use GNOME is default desktop environment, they don't still know that they are using GNOME. They don't have idea that which desktop environment they are using, and when we tell them, then they get shocked. So like this is the situation. And also there is resistance in people to get into something they don't know. So in Nepal, everyone they are like they start with Windows right from the beginning, and then yeah, they use it for all their life. And so most of the people using it, and most of the people they don't even know about the open source philosophy, about the Linux and these things. So they don't want to get into newer things. They don't want to learn using newer thing again. So if they like they have to put in efforts, right, to learn new things again. So there is a bit resistance. And there are very less people actually using these projects, our open source projects. And then the personal challenge actually for me in the community was like starting the community was first of all the time. Like I'm a student, I also do a full-time job, and now I have taken the lead for the initiatives of Gnome Nepal, and the time is very very limited. I right now I don't get much time for myself, but if in any free time I think about Gnome Nepal, how we can do better, how we can provide value to the people, how we can inspire more people in this. And then another thing is study. In study, yeah, when you don't give your extra time to the study, then it actually affects it career. Yeah, there we have to do many sessions right now in the starting of the community. So yeah, I have to take leaves from my work, or I have to go late to my work, and I can finish some work in time. Yeah, this type of challenges there are. And family and friends, the thing is like my can we can give the time that we were giving previously, the amount of time as we were giving previously right now, because the community has actually started, and many people they have started joining us. So like this is the personal challenges, but I don't feel much bothered with it, because right now like the Gnome Nepal community has been like a part of me and part of all the other people who have joined this initiative. So it gives satisfaction to do the things, to carry forward the works for the community. So yeah, and still I am very young, so I don't think it is affecting me that much. But yeah, these were the personal challenges. And another big challenge for us was like starting right from the beginning. So mentorship opportunity that we got, like how to start the community, from where we should start, the way we should start, uh, here locally, we there is lack of it. So we had to start right from the beginning. We were unknown about the challenges. We still don't know what type of roadblocks that awaits us in the future. So we have started from scratch. At first I was only the one, and now we many people have joined us. So I'll also reveal the number that we have right now in our community. And actually, another challenge that we are facing right now after the community has started is like providing value to the community members. Like so the community is very new. It has just started, so there are many people who actually are unknown about these things, and they have joined. And now we have to provide them with the value, so that they can carry forward the initiatives. They can actually follow these things. They can actually carry forward using gnome. So we have to provide them with value. So now the thing is, we are constantly thinking about how we can provide value to the members. So about providing the value, so I want to go to our next slide, that is the opportunities that we got after like gnome nepal, starting gnome nepal, while starting gnome nepal, and now after it has started. So the community opportunities are like, it is it gives us somewhat a platform that connects open source lovers from all over Nepal. Is We are actually targeting for everyone from all over the Nepal, because the situation is most of the initiatives and most of the sessions and most of these things, they are concentrated or centralized inside the valley, Kathmandu Valley, which is the capital city. And the remote areas and other small cities around the countries, the students, the enthusiasts, the people, they don't get actual chance. It is really far away, and it is costly for them to travel each time for the sessions, and to discuss about these things, or for the meetings. Yeah. So we want this community to be a platform that actually connects everyone from all over the Nepal. So it can be online, or we can travel there, or we can do uh, other things. We can take other initiatives, but right now our mission or our target is to like cover the whole country, not just a city. So, and there is the unique opportunities for developers to work on real time projects and boost their CV. Now, right now, as I talked about providing value, so we thought how we can provide value to the people, to the our members in the community. So we thought the first one would be for the developers to actually work on real time projects. The beginners, the students who haven't worked on real time projects, but they need to do that to increase their technical acumen, they can get chance to work on these projects. Like the first project we just initiated was like building the Gnome Nepal website, and we opened it for everyone in the community. So anyone interested could say like, I'm interested in it. And the senior people who actually know about building website, they know about technical things, they guide they mentored, they guided the newcomers. So when newcomers asked me or other, like, we don't know much about it but we are interested, then we say yes, please come on, let's do it, we will guide you. So one is this, and then another is creating career opportunities. Actually, like we talked, like in previous point. And another is international and national exposure, is also the opportunity that the members can get. So we don't want our members or contributors to just be concentrated in the country, but they to have connections with everyone from all around the world, all around the globe, make great connections. Because I think it has actually given me a lot of growth and lot of friends by being involved with the GNOME Foundation conferences. Like right now, there are so many friends that I can name, that I can talk with them. I feel comfortable with, like Christy is there, Anissa is there, Osmit, Deepisa, Aryan, and many, many more people. Like it gives so much happiness that you coming from a small country and then you actually knowing so many people. So I want to provide the same feeling to the members of our community. And there is mentorship and trainings from international and national instructors. So yeah, the projects we just put forward, the members get to work on it. There are mentors who will help them, will guide them, and trainings. And talking about international ones, we also want them to know about the works being done internationally, the thinkings, the philosophy, the ideas that the international contributors can provide to the national ones. Like recently we held a training session, or we can say online webinar, 1.5 hour online webinar with Aryan Kausik. Like he introduced the member of the Gnome Nepal community about open source, how to start, how he started his journey, the opportunities they can get, and the connections they can make, and the way they can feel satisfied by actually contributing, how to contribute, the start of contribution. So that was a great opportunity for the members to actually learn from our international guests and members. And now talking about personal opportunities, actually for me, it is, as I said, I got a lot of exposure with our friends, international friends. I actually come from a very, very remote village. Originally, I come from a very, very remote village. The area where I come from, Mount Everest, is situated right there. So I moved out of the village when I was very little, because the school or the educational institution, it was only to the fifth grade. So for higher education, I had to move out. So the person who is coming from so remote place got to know so many people internationally from different countries. Now it is a, I'm overwhelmed with that feeling. I can't tell you how much it means to me, like actually making friends. So that one is the opportunity I actually got from the community. And then I got to enhance my love toward open source, because now is I am actually involved in it, building a community, teaching people, mentoring people, telling them about how GNOME works, how it is useful to them, how Linux works, how it is useful to them, what sort of things they can expect from it. And now it has become the part of my life. It is like whenever I got it free time, then also I'm thinking something about open source right now. So it has enhanced my love toward open source. And another is I got to flex the GNOME desktop environment in my computer to my friends. Yeah, that actually is a great one. Like they ask, "Oh, which one is this? Like, how did you made it like this? It is not like that in ours." So I got to flex it. And actually, the recognition, yeah, the recognition I have got recently, because I have been taking the initiatives. Like people have actually appreciated the efforts, and it has also been an opportunity for me. And the most important one is about teaching and mentoring juniors and interested people. Like I have always been fond of this. I'm actually interested in teaching the juniors, the students, about the things that I have learned, and the open source initiatives, and that if I can teach them about the projects, like how to use it, how to make it better, how to develop it, then it is a great opportunity for me. Now, so after everything, telling about the how it started, how what were the challenges and what were the opportunities, or what are the opportunities, we actually kick-started GNOME Nepal, and let's see how it is going on right now. So first, let me talk about the vision and mission. So we are very in a starting stage. So we might change this, or we might keep on working on this as per the suggestions. So we are actually like taking suggestions right from in here Nepal too, from other senior peoples. So the vision is to actually encourage the use of GNOME and related open source projects in Nepal, and empower the local contributors to represent Nepal's open source culture internationally. So this is the vision that we actually want to achieve. And the mission we take forward is to encourage newcomers and existing contributors to contribute to GNOME and related open source projects. So we want to let them know about the project. We want to make them aware about the project and the ways how they can actually contribute. And then talking about the strategies, right now we have thought about four strategies that we want to work on as a community. So first one is the uh, code contributions and the contribution to the projects that they can do. So what we have thought is we will provide them with the training sessions and with the materials and resources, if we can manage it, so that they get motivated, they can feel like they can also do it. Like if they want to contribute and they don't know about how to do it, then we want to teach them how to do it. We want to teach them right from the beginning, right from the start. Like we don't tell them like explore yourself, but we want to guide them. And in this I also have talked with Christy previously. Like I have asked her about if we can do anything like from the foundation, can we get trainers, or can we get sessions from the contributors who has actually done it, so that they can actually hear and learn from the people who have done it. So Christy has given very positive reactions. He actually have been supporting us right from the start, and I'm very thankful and grateful to her for it. So she said, after GUADEC summit, we can actually talk on this and we can do this. And I was like very happy about this. So, and that one, and actually even at our own capacity also, we are like teaching them. So I will also show how we are doing that in some time. So, and another one is like we are providing them with sessions, physical sessions to actually students. We are targeting the students right now, because if we want to target the older generation, or like people who have crossed 35 or 40, it might get a bit harder for us, because they have been using non-open source proprietary softwares from very beginning, and they are resist they they will resist to learn new technology, because like it will be hard for them to learn. But if we teach students right from the beginning, it is the starting phase that they have been starting to use the text. So if we teach them from the beginning, they will grasp the concept better, and they will start using it in their daily activities in better way. And if we teach the students now, what it will do is, like, if one student know about something better, about any concepts, like actually contributing, or about the git, or about the projects, or about like documentations and these things, like they can teach it to their uh, fellow students, like to their friends. That is the thing that we want to target. We want the people who have joined our session and learn from us to actually conduct their own sessions, and we will support it. Now that is what we are thinking right now, and that is what we will support. And another is the discussion. Another strategy we are actually targeting is open discussion, open knowledge sharing, the platform we provide them to share their knowledge, and these sort of things. And then another thing is like connections. We are humans, and we want friends, we need friends, we need people who we can talk with, we can share our knowledge with, we can learn, we can teach. And these sort of connections, they will actually like benefit the community, benefit the collaborative work, it will enhance the teamwork. So our another strategy is like inspiring, motivating people to actually work together, like a teamwork sort of thing. So after these strategies, like another thing we have actually started right from the Gnome Asia Summit was like targeting every possible social media that we can start with. Like the community platforms right now, we have our Gnome Nepal community are in Facebook, in Instagram, in LinkedIn, in Twitter or X, and in Discord. So we don't want anyone to feel um like feel a challenge to actually go to a limited set of social media platform. We want our community to be hosted in every platform, so that the user of any platform can enter the community, they can interact with us, they can get the value, they can provide us the value. Like, so if someone is actively using Instagram only and they only want to use the Instagram, now then they can come and they can talk with us in Instagram, they can join the community. If they are only using LinkedIn, then they can do that. And another thing that we saw after, or we got the result after using the community, the social media, is that they learn indirectly from it. Like, if the Gnome Nepal community post about the updates, the photos about the sessions, and things like this, then the people who aren't even directly connected with it, they see it. The community get the visibility, and after getting the visibility, they are actually curious about what is this, what is the foot logo that we see in the t-shirts of everyone. Like, what is the foot logo that they are showing to everyone, like what is Gnome, what is open source that they are talking about. And now they become curious. Like, just 2 or 3 days before, my friend who is studying in microbiology, that he came and asked me, is there anything like Gnome Foundation in our field too? Is there anything like this foundation in microbiology also that I can join? Now, these are the things that we are targeting. We If we go physically and target directly, we want to teach them directly, then it might not be that effective. It will take a lot of time. But if we are showing them our visibility and influencing them, we are sharing our ideas, we are teaching them from the social media, then more number of people gets targeted. So people all over the Nepal gets targeted. And these are the things that we are targeting. We actually want to be in the social media, we want to engage in the social media, and we want to like enhance the power. We want to like promote more open source and Gnome technologies through social media, so many people can know about it. So, and after talking about the social media, the community platform that we actually have right now, it is based in Discord. So we have a Discord community, and the community which just started with me, one person now. It has been like almost 1 month that we have started the community, and we right now have 56 active people in the community. So it is a great thing for me to like actually tell you all that 56 people have joined us in this initiative, the initiative of encouraging people to actually learn about open source, know about open source, know about Gnome, know about Gnome technologies, know about the projects, about the contributions. So yeah, it is a great thing. And we are talking about 56. We are actually increasing by every day as we have started doing our sessions. So now, talking about the updates and the activities we are doing. So the inauguration event was done in Kathmandu University. So it was only me at that time in the community. So I went there alone. I went there and I said, "Okay, guys, now we are starting the community. It is Gnome Nepal community. We are like local chapter of the foundation. We are supported by the foundation. We want you all to know about open source technologies and Gnome and Linux, and please come and join us." So I pitched the idea in front of the Kathmandu University open source community members. almost 50 plus people were involved in this session. And the idea was to pitch about the community to the people who have actually been in another community. One thing that I targeted at that time was the collaboration between the open source communities. That is a lovely thing that we can see all around the world. And I also wanted to like encourage these sort of things here in Nepal. And so we collaborated with KUSC, Kathmandu Open Source Community, and Gnome Nepal. They together did this inauguration event to the people who were newcomers and also to the people who have been in the community for some time. So after this, we got a lot of supports. So many people, they're trying to actually join the community, learn about the community, learn about GNOME, about the technologies, and about the ways they can contribute. And after this, the main another event or session that we actually did is, so the session we actually did was the second session in KU, again in Kathmandu University, again with the collaboration with Kathmandu University open source community. Is at first we were in a very beginning state, so we had to take support from our other fellow community members, from our other fellow communities which are actually doing good, and also encourage the collaboration, encourage the teamwork. So the session was based on GNOME customization and about the GNOME extensions. Also I took with me some of these t-shirts that were like left from the GNOME Asia Summit. So it was like I saved it. I saved three t-shirts at that time. So now we rewarded the top contributors of KUSC with the GNOME t-shirt, and we appreciated their reports, and like they were very happy because of that. They were inspired, they were more motivated to contribute to the community, and it really was a great satisfaction for me to provide value to other community too from GNOME Nepal. And after this event, actually we got many members joining us. We opened our community platform, and we had so many people, so that we are right now very capable of performing our own sessions, conducting our own events, but still taking in the consideration of collaboration between other communities. So the biggest one until now was the session we did recently, 3 or 4 days before, in the St. Xavier's College here in Kathmandu, Maitigar. Now, St. Xavier's College is very popular here in Nepal. It is considered as like a dream college for many students. Like they want to join there, they want to go there for high school. So high school and undergrad studies. So we thought if we target this school, we target St. Xavier's College, then we would actually get a great opportunity to influence other people, to motivate other people, to increase our visibility and make people curious about what is GNOME and what is GNOME Nepal, what the community is doing, what sort of things it is actually promoting. So the session, it was our first training session. So the concept behind it was a 3 hours long session. Now see, the 3 hours long session, and the students were very beginners. They were completely unaware about open source philosophies, the projects, and like they didn't have Linux in their laptop. They were still using Windows, so it was a great challenge for us. So how we actually did the session was, we took it very beginning level, very basic level. We started right from what is open source. Then we talked about open source communities. Then we talked about from the introduction of Linux, and showed them a bit a glimpse of using GNOME desktop environment, like making them wow. So it was now we are targeting not just one session, but series of sessions, because we know that this concept the students can't grab in just one session. So the first session, 3 hour session, it was very beginning. It was more like theory, and we made it very interactive. Like we took in, like we actually opened registration for 50 students. Why 50 students and why registration? So I think I support this concept that if we keep very minimal price, like the price was just like less than $1, less than $1 for them. It is like 100 Nepali rupees for them to join. So why we kept the price was like, because only the interested people who actually want to gain the value will attend the session. Otherwise, like if we do the free session, then many people register, but actually they don't show up, they don't appear. And the registration fee we took from them, we returned it to them. Like how we returned it to them was like, there was a break, and we funded their tea and cookies. We bought chart papers, we bought stationery materials and everything from right from their money, and we gave it back to them, like in terms of value. So like it was like taking no money, but taking a little bit of money just for the interested people, to take the interested people, not just for people who won't show up later in this session. So we took 50 peoples. Each team made up of 5 people. We made 10 peoples, and we actually like made the all into like round tables, 10 round tables, and then 10 round tables, and the students, they are facing each other. So encouraging teamwork, encouraging collaboration, active participation, and then they will get comfortable talking with each other, and very informal session. Like we started in a friendly manner, we then introduced them about open source, we provide them with charts, we ask them to like actually, after introducing open source, we ask them to like actually imagine about open source project they would want to make, they will make. And now what we did was, when all the 10 teams they made their own open source projects. Now one team would stand up and will tell their idea, will tell their projects, the technical aspect of their project, and now other 9 teams would contribute to it. Now we made them understand about open source in this way. Like one would actually make their project public, and now other people, if they think that they can contribute and make it better, now they would start to suggest it, they will start to contribute it. Now in this session, we started teaching them one by one, like every details, and now we went into basics. So this is how we want to do our other sessions also. And this was the first session. Now in the second sessions, the interested one would get more technical sessions, and then we will teach them about Linux, about Gnome, about Gnome project, how to contribute, how can they actually contribute to the project, and these sort of things to the interested one. So yeah, we have started this, we have been in constant contact with other colleges. After this session, actually the visibility has like gone very high. I would say very high. Like other college and other IT clubs have also contacted us, like they want this session to be done in their college. So it is a great proud moment for every one of us involved in this community, that the basic sessions we have been providing, the students really felt good. And now also talking about the website, the first projects we started in our community, the actual tech project that we started in our community, this is Gnome Nepal. And then the contributors, the developers, they contributed, they learned how they can contribute. So this is still in the making, but I think they have done a great job in this. They have like kept upcoming event section, about us section, home section, and also we have like placed the contributors. We actually want to reward them with their works, and we have like provided them with this section, the contributor section. So they would get featured in this if they contribute to the community, and this will like get updated each month. And top contributors would be enlisted. So here is frequently asked questions. There is also become a member button, so that it would directly lead to our community, Discord community, and also become a sponsor. If anyone want to become sponsors and help the community grow, then yeah, now this project right now we are developing it inside the community. And now actually we have gotten our own mail, staff gnome mail from our uh, from like Bart. So from Bart we got it, and now we want to make it better. Yes, yes, Osmit. Yes. Okay. Just 2 or 3 slides only remaining. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, okay. I'll just take 2 minutes, actually introducing our contributors. So I think they deserve to be introduced. So just give me 2 minutes. So these are our contributors who actually work in the websites, and also they are providing instruction in the sessions. So these are also the contributors who have actually worked in website and done great work by instructing in the sessions. And again, these are also the instructors and the people who have worked in the website development. And yeah, and at last there is this testimonial, these people who took our sessions, the beginning sessions, they actually have reposted with their thoughts, like how they enjoyed this session, how they got to learn a lot more things about open source GNOME and Linux. So these testimonials are really a great moment for us, and we want to keep this forward. We want to keep growing the community, and we want and I also want to request the global community, the contributors, and everyone present in here, and who sees at this, who watches these our streams, to like actually support us, support the community. We still want many people to provide us the training. We are still in the beginning phase. There are so many people who are interested in contributing. So yeah, please support us, help us, provide us training sessions, provide us with any help about guide, about mentorship. And thank you. So yeah, this much about GNOME Nepal, and let's hope we will get to share more updates with you in like further time. Yeah, 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 sure.
Thank you for all the work that you do in Nepal, and congrats to all the community.
Thank
Kudos
you so
for
much.
everything.
It wouldn't be possible if you guys didn't help us from right from the beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, at the moment we don't have any questions, so keep an eye in the metrics chat and see if you can reply by text there. Thank you everyone for watching and attending the conference remotely and in person. Now we are going to have a lunch break, so see you in about 55 minutes, either online or at the venue. Thank you.
For those on the stream, we're delayed waiting for the speaker, so the talk on moving past quiet introspection will be posted on YouTube later. Our next talk starts at 2:10 p.m. for the State of Security Components in Gnome by Danuka Warasadura. We'll be on break for the next 10 minutes.
of security components in Gnome.
Hello, everybody. I'm Danuka. Thank you so much for joining into my talk. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the state of security components in GNOME quickly. Specifically, I want to talk to you about the status of desktop secret management components in GNOME, which are the following components: genome keyring, libsecret, and GCR. The important thing to note is these three components are also manages the current infrastructure to manage desktop credentials in GNOME desktop environment. So before I continue with my talk, I would very much like to introduce you to these three components in case if anyone doesn't know about them. So let's go to genome keyring first. Genome keyring provides the infrastructure to manage secrets used by desktop applications. To simply put, genome keyring provides a password storage for desktop applications. Genome keyring is a multi-component daemon. It has a secret component, which is the dbus secret service API implementation. As the server implementation, it also has a SSH agent wrapper, a PAM module, and also a PKCS11 module. Let's introduce you to the libsecret. It is a client library to communicate with the dbus secret service provider. If an application wants to talk to the genome keyring, they should use libsecret. Lastly, GCR is a crypto library. Also, it provides the prompter service to genome keyring. You may have seen this when you are creating a new keyring or unlocking a keyring in GNOME environment. You will be showing a prompt. That prompt is coming from GCR. GCR also has a certificate viewer. Yeah. Now that's out of the way. I really want to talk to you about why we plan to deprecate genome keyring. So this whole thing started with the modular genome keyring Fedora change proposal created by Daiki Ueno and other folks at Red Hat. So the plan is to reduce the tasks managed by genome keyring and fully deprecated it. Initially, even though genome keyring is built around the dbus secret service API, the implementations now becoming really outdated and over complex for a dbus specification implementation. It also provides multiple services from a single daemon, as I have described before. So this multiple service design makes troubleshooting hard if any issues arise. It's also become harder when introducing fixes for these issues. So based on these reasons, we plan to deprecate genome keyring by limiting its responsibilities, like moving out the other functionalities out of genome keyring. So our goal is to make the genome keyring just a mere provider of the secret service API. When we get the genome keyring to this state, a mere provider of the dbus secret service provider, we can introduce a new service and entirely replace genome keyring from the desktop credential management ecosystem. So thanks to the STF funding, I have taken over the modular genome keyring plan, and I have taken over the remaining tasks as well. Those were port the PAM module to libsecret and also introduce the new dbus secret service implementation. So these two tasks were the only things remaining from the modular genome keyring plan. So to quickly give you an update about progress to date. So I have finalized the GCR SSH agent migration support, and we also shipped this change for Genome 46. Completely ported the PAM module with modifications to libsecret. And currently, I'm implementing the new debug secret service provider in Rust based on O7 library. We currently call this new daemon the O7 daemon. This is a temporary name until a new name comes along. I have fully completed implementing the debug interface implementation. I'm currently testing out each debug methods calls and fixing the edge cases. But currently, we don't have the multiple keyring support implemented yet. So after implementing the multiple keyring support, we can widely tell folks to try out this and let us know how the new daemon functions. As for the future plans, we plan to integrate TPM-backed credential support for O7 daemon using systemd per user credentials as a backend. We also plan to add permanent TPM support to libsecret and also introduce TPM support to O7 client library. So when we complete the O7 daemon as the new debug secret service provider, O7 will be the Rust client library. libsecret will be still around. We will continue to keep maintaining it because it is based on the G object and it is the only C library. GCR is the crypto library and the provider of prompter service. So thank you so much for tuning into my quick talk. If you want to reach out to me, please free to join our new Matrix channel and feel free to ask anything. Also feel free to contact me using the email. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Danuka, for the great talk. Is there any questions, either in the Matrix channel or anyone in the room? Want to come up?
Like on the TPM plans, do you have anything like planned for supporting passwordless authentication systems to unlocking the keyrings, for example, this kind of stuff?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. It's currently actually a plan. We haven't made any further plans for that. It is just an idea. So we will let you know how the process goes and what are our plans here. Please answer your question.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. We have another one.
Yeah, so I was curious about Gnome keyring, as you said, does a lot of things, and like 007 is just going to be just a purely portal, the secret service, the debug secret service. And what is the plan to handle things that we're trying to do other things with Gnome keyring, such as has this interface that Gnome initial setup uses to create a user. Or not to create a user, to create a keyring. Is there any plan? Because the create a keyring is not part of the the dbus interface.
That is a very great question. So currently what we are doing is adding support to the existing keyrings in your machine. Let's say you have a login keyring. So we are currently passing everything on that. So we haven't introduced any changes to create a new keyring if a system doesn't have one. But it's in our plans too. Yeah.
There's one thing I'm curious about. So when you talk about an architecture change, like changing all of the things that GNOME Keyring does and splitting it out into separate services, that's also kind of a social process. There's always some people that you have to convince. I'm curious if that was easy, like you presented the new architecture and everybody said, oh yeah, we wanted to do that already for a long time, or did it take a lot of convincing?
Yeah, actually, so currently we don't have any plans for that either, because we are still testing everything by hand. Currently, the only working thing is we can work really nice with a single keyring, so that is the login keyring. So, and this is my first talk introducing this change as well, so I'm not sure many people know about this. So like you said, it may be will be a bit harder to let people know that we are doing something like this, and it may take some time actually to introduce this new change. So since this is my first public presentation and announcement, announcing our plans, I think, yeah, I think I should write a better blog post about explaining everything. I haven't done that because our work is not done yet. So actually, yeah, that's the main reason. But I really agree with your point. Yeah, I'm really agree with you.
So that's very exciting. We're watching the social process happen right now.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Danuka. That's the end of the questions we had. Next up at 14:40, Juan's going to be speaking about Calache Road to version 1.0. Thanks, everyone.
and welcome back to GUADEC. We have our final presentation for the second track for the second day. Now we are going to have on stage Juan Pablo Ugarte, and he's going to talk about Calache, Road to version 1.
Thank you. All right, so my name is Juan Pablo Ugarte. I'm from Argentina. I started using Gnome around 2000. My first distribution was Red Hat 6.2. And then a year after, around late 2001, I started using GTK, programming in GTK. Actually, my first job, it was 2 hours a day. And the first thing that my boss gave me was a hard copy of the GTK tutorial, and he told me, learn this, you're gonna need it. And back then, this is how things look like. This is Glade 2 in GTK 2, but it's pretty similar. It's a port of the first Glade from the late 90s. And as you can see here, it's a multiple windows application, and the application window you are creating, it's shown together with the rest of the windows. And as you can notice here, in the toolbar, there's no undo and redo. And that was very, very annoying, trying to use Glade without undo and redo, because it was easy to make a mistake and lose a lot of work. So I remember in those days going to the website for Glade and reading that Glade 3 was coming soon, but it never happened. So at one point, around 2004, 2005, I decided, okay, let's see if I can actually help whatever they need, so I can actually use Glade 3 on my own projects. So I joined the Glade, I sent an email to the mailing list, and Tristan replied with different things that I could help. I started helping. Back then, we sent patches through email. So the first few patches were emails, and then at some point, they gave me access to CVS, I think it was the repository for the code source. And around 2006, we released the first version for Glade 3, which was a complete rewrite. And this was still GTK 2. And as you can see here, we integrated everything in one application, and you can edit, and you can work, you have a workspace with the window you are editing. This is the Glade 3 port for GTK 3. I think it was released around 2011. I wasn't involved. It was mostly done by Tristan. And this is how currently Glade looks like. It's a new UI I implemented around 2017. I think it was for Manchester GUADEC that I did all this work. And it's currently, I stopped working on Glade officially like a year ago. So yeah, so Calache. That's how it's pronounced. I'm sorry, I know it's a little bit difficult for an English speaker, but what are you gonna do? Naming rights. So what does it mean? In Argentina, where I come from, Calache, first of all, it's probably the most famous tango song ever. It's from the 30s. That's a link to YouTube if you wanna check it out. And you'll have to look for Google for the translation for the lyrics. They are pretty good. It means junk shop, or the window of the junk shop, or simply something, when something is messy, you say it's a Calache. That's how it is. So that's how I felt developing and maintaining Glade and thinking about making a replacement. That's how I felt, that everything was a mess, had to use different tools. Anyway, so before we start, yes, I always forget to show things live. So if you see a screenshot in in the slides, there should be some demo about that. So if I forget, please remind me. And if there's a specific question about that, you can ask me. Don't worry, you can interrupt me. Okay, so lessons from the past. What I learned in Glade. I think one of the main issues with Glade is the data model that they use, which I'm pretty sure it made a lot of sense when they made that decision. We have to remember that Glade code base is it's older than GObjects, so it was created before GObject existed, and they use the actual runtime objects. So when you are creating a window and you are editing a property, you are actually changing the property of the widget, and that's the data model. That's in memory what they use to keep all the data, and that's where we serialize to the file. So that brings several issues. One of them, the easiest to realize, is that eventually GObject introduces construct-only properties. So that meant that if you want to change a property that is a construct-only, you cannot do it. You have to recreate the widget, and things get complicated quite easily. You have to take out children's, keep a reference, recreate the widget with the object with the new construct-only property, put everything back together, and don't even get me started when you want to do that in an undo and redo stack. It gets really messy. It's a Calache. Another thing that I learned and I didn't want to repeat is having these runtime objects for the workspace in the same process as the application, because even though sometimes we didn't even change anything in Glade, just by linking to a different GTK library, a different version that had a new property that if you set to null, it's just called aborts, because it doesn't make sense to set that property to null, then you basically crash the whole application. So one of my requirements for myself was, first of all, split the data model, have something that has nothing to do with the runtime object, and make no compromise on the design of the data model. It doesn't matter that I have to deal with runtime object. That's a separate, I try to treat it as a separate issue, a separate problem. And then the other part is everything you see in the workspace should run in its own process. So if it crashes, it doesn't crash the main application and you don't lose any data. And to do that, we need a way to embed widgets that are from a different process into the main application. And unless I plan to only use X11 and use GTK socket and plug, I had to find a better way. So the only way I could think of, instead of writing my own custom compositor, was to use Broadway backend, which allows you to run a GTK application in a web browser. So that was the idea. And the other thing is I really wanted to have something that was easier to implement the undo and redo stack. Okay, so the first thing, the data model. This was the crazy idea that I had, and I really wanted to test this idea before, let's say, try to change Glade into a different data model. So my idea was, okay, data model, what's better than a relational database? So around 2020, during the pandemic, after I tried to fix some leaks in Glade and give up because I couldn't fix them all, I started thinking about putting all my ideas that I had during the days into practice. So I opened up my editor and started writing some SQLite code. And what I did, I split things in 3 different kind of tables in the database. First, there's the base tables, where it's where I model everything related to the type model. So that's where I have a type table, properties, and signals, and where all the data that Calache needs to create a UI, it's stored in those tables. Then the project tables is where you are actually creating your new UI. And one other thing, back in the day in Glade, everything used to be made in one big UI file, so the whole application was done like that. But now we should be using more templates, and your application should be using your custom templates for components that make it easier to create your own application. So Calache also supports multiple UI files in the same project. That's why I introduced the concept of project. It's a collection of all the UI files that you need for your project, that whether that's a regular UI file or a template. So that's the table where I keep the UI is where I keep all the UI files that you are editing. Then there's an object table where all the object data for that project lives. It's a double column primary key, obviously the UI and the object ID. And then I have a lot of other tables for all the rest of the thing, like properties, signals, layout properties. And so that's the first thing I did. But then different problems was how to populate all that data. There's no way that you can do that manually. So that's why luckily we had gear data that, so I decided, I wrote a small script that takes gear data and some all extra metadata that it's not present in gear from the runtime object, and create a special file that I call catalog, that comes from Glade, that has all this information for all the base tables. So I have a catalog for GTK, for libadwaita, for Handy, and WebKit. So that's how I populate the data model. The other thing that I wanted to make easier is that is the undo and redo stack. That's handled, everything is handled by triggers. So every time you add an object or you change something in one of those project database tables, something is logged in a history table, and that's the data that I use when you click undo or redo. I go and see what you change, and I do the inverse. Obviously, maintaining all these triggers manually, it's a lot of work, so I have a function that creates those triggers for each table. So everything is generated automatically. So the workspace, like I mentioned before, this was my first idea, and what current Calache Merengue is the name of the process that shows all the workspace widget. It's mentioned in the lyrics of Calache. Okay, so how it works is in Calache I have a web view that is WebKit GTK, and then I spawn a Broadway backend depending on if the project is for GTK3 or GTK4. I spawn the right one, and then I spawn an instance of Merengue, and I communicate with Merengue using JSON. The old version or stable version still uses a standard input and output to communicate, because I was thinking, okay, maybe eventually I will have to do something I will have to make it work on Windows, and that's probably easier than using Unix sockets. But it turns out Windows does support Unix sockets. So yeah, that's how it works currently. So I want to give a special thanks to Alexander for writing the Broadway backend. I know that it was a toy project for him, and he probably didn't think that somebody will use it like I did. Also, the WebKit community for making it so easier to embed a web view in your application, and WL Roots community, Immersion, Kenny, and Yidol for all their support and great library. That next slide will make sense why I'm giving thanks for this. So this was never meant to be the way to do this. It was just a stopgap, so I had something to show the workspace while validated my idea, my crazy idea of using SQLite as the data model. So currently in the main branch, I have a new workspace. I created, using WL Roots, I created a compositor, a Wayline compositor widget. So now instead of having to create a web view and spawn a Broadway backend, all I have to do is just configure Merengue application to talk to my compositor, and it goes through using Unix socket and shared memory, so it's way faster. Okay, so what's the minimum viable product for Calache 1.0? My idea is that when I release the first version, I want to be able to tell somebody that's using Glay, now you can stop using Glay, now use this instead. So the first thing that you need obviously is basic support for GObject, and that includes having object that could have children properties, layout properties, and signals. So I could show something here, how you okay, so let's create a new project. So by default, it creates one UI file, but you can create multiple ones. But let's add a top level window, and let's put a box inside and a label. And okay, so right click, I'm gonna show you. So yes, this is the XML that Calache produced. As you can see, all this is basic support for GObject, where you have object, children, and properties. So going back to the slides, the other thing that it has to support is custom tags. That's something that is specific to the buildable interface in GTK, which allows you, if you created your own widget class, you can extend the XML language to support your own tags, and there's a few widgets that do that. One simple example is GTK widget itself. Use that to define style classes. So if you want to add a style class here at the end of the property editor, you'll have all the data, all the custom tags. Let's add one style, and the style has a name. And if you can see here, typo, it adds the new custom tag. Another thing that I really wanted to do, because I want people to be able to create the whole UI using Calache, have all their files in the same place, that I also want them to use it to preview the CSS. And for that, given now that we have a project instead of a UI, you can also add a CSS file. And As you can see here, you can set a name. And we can say that the hello class has a background red. And you save, and you can say, you can specify if this CSS is for a specific UI or for all UIs in your application, and which priority you should use. That should probably be an enumeration, not just a number. Okay, if we go back, there you go. You can see the change applies automatically. Bindings and expression. Binding was something that we never fully supported in Glade. We never had the time to add it. And expression obviously is a new thing. It's still not supported in Calache. But you could do something like, let's say, add an entry here, and we select the title of the window, and let's put an ID first to the entry. And let's bind, where's title? Down here. Source, I want to be the entry, and I want to be the text. No. Here, text and flags, let's say it's bidirectional. Okay, so now if I type something here, it should change automatically the window property that you just bind. Class template, like I mentioned before, everybody should be using templates. So one way to create a template, you should add a UI file. Let's say you want to create your own box. So let's add a box here. Sorry, in this, and in the box, let's add okay, first live demo, something that's not working. But here, if you type the class name, let's call it my box, and you just click template, and what it does here, it defines the class as a template instead of an object. So you have to use this UI file in your class and set it to use as a template. But the good thing about here is now that I have everything in one project, I know that you have a type that is called my box. So if you go here to a different file, you could create, let's create another window. Okay, that's why it wasn't working. I click the preview button. Let's placeholders. Okay, here, let's add the type I just defined in my project. So my box here, and let's add something like a label. And it should automatically show you the template that you are working on. So this is an easy way. Before in Glade 3, you have to create your own library, create a Glade template, a Glade catalog, and that was a really steep learning curve, and not many people did it, especially for its own application. Only big libraries created catalogs for Glade. And of course, everything else. We need to support everything else that GTK Builder does. So for that, I wanted to have a fallback method, and the fallback is like this. So any object that you have in your UI, there's this tab here in the property next to signals that is called extra fragments that allows you. Let me show you here the XML. You can type any XML fragment you want, and all it wants is to be a valid XML, and then it will be added automatically to the hierarchy, even if it breaks the UI. And this is meant for, like, let's say that some GTK widget class adds something new that is not supported by Calache, you could go and write it manually, enter it manually. And the same goes for at the UI level. You also have a fragment that it will be added at the root level of the UI. So for example, when Calache didn't support creating menus, you could put your menu in here, and that's it. Okay, so what else? All right, this is not a very important, but one of the features that Glade had was that you were able to select which version of each library you are using you want to target. Let's say you are on the latest version, but you want to deploy this application on a different machine that has a lower version. So what you can do is here in the requires tab, you can specify which version you want to target. Let's say I want to target the first one, and if you do that, then you're gonna get notifications in the properties, like for example this one, handle menu bar, and the error says that the UI target GTK 4.1, but this property was introduced in 4.2, and that way you can create a UI for a different version of a library. Yes, so this I already showed, buildable custom tags. What I can show you is later, if we have time, like the way I define this in my custom catalogs, I have an XML catalog file where I define. Here I added the slide. So this is a snippet from the catalog metadata. So this is the GTK widget class, and what I do, I have a tag that is data, and everything I put in data, I assume it's just an example of the custom tags that class supports. And here, for example, it knows that it has a style and then a child class, and has a property that is of the type gchar array, so it's a string. So, and that's how I read from the catalog, and I store everything I need to create automatically that UI in the database. CSS preview, I already showed. Gene binding support also, and one thing I want to show you here is that gbinding rocks. It's pretty nice to use gbindings in your application. And yes, of course, the slides are made in Calache. And also Calache. And let's open the Calache file. It's a big project, has a few custom classes that are mostly here to have the reference and being able to use them in the main window. As you can see here, if you are familiar with Calache, you can see this is the actual UI. Okay, let's close this one. So custom templates, I also already show. I really cannot stress it enough. It makes your life so much easier to make everything a custom template. Arbitrary fragments, like I heard this many times that people will say, oh, Clay doesn't support this particular new feature, so that's why I wrote everything by hand. Now you can still write the feature that is not supported by hand and the rest just using the UI. Okay, so what's missing? Accessibility support, even though you can add you can add it as a XML fragment. I do want to add proper support so it's easier. GTK expression, I haven't added because I didn't fully understand how they work. I read the GTK builder parsing code, but it's not clear to me yet. So I'm gonna ask somebody here to explain it to me. Third-party catalogs, so that I can allow libraries to ship their own catalog. Internally, I have everything split as catalog, but I just didn't want to commit to a proper file format just yet. And of course, documentation. I need to write a user guide, and I need to write a developer guide so that people can actually start contributing more easily. So yes, help wanted. So if you want to help, if there's something that doesn't work for you and you would like it to be fixed, please join us at the Metric channel and file bugs in GitLab. That's the link for the GitLab repository. So any questions?
So on the subject of writing everything by hand, I'm curious, so can you edit the UI definition right now in Calache? Like, can you edit the XML and have it also update the Calache side?
No, you have to import. You will have, yes. If there's something in Calache, you'll have to export it to XML, modify it, and then import it back. We could add something like that, but I'm afraid that it will bring a lot of issues.
So my next question is,
yes.
How tightly coupled is Merengue right now? Because I think the technology you built could also be used, for example, to like do a live preview of like the XML file in the like code editor. So like you could quickly preview files and things like in their actual UI form. So I'm just curious how coupled together everything is.
It's not, well, there's a JSON. There's not a formal specification, but it's a very simple protocol JSON. There, if you enable debug logs, you will see the JSON that Calache sends to Merengue. It's usually when you select an UI, it sends update UI, and it sends the whole XML of the UI. Okay. And Merengue just destroys everything that it has and creates the new UI. When you change a property, it sends a property change message with the value, and Merengue knows how to serialize that and apply the change. And Merengue also sends some commands back when you like double click on a placeholder, so that Calache knows that you want to add a child there in that position, for example. But that's probably the only point. But what is it that you want to use? You want to use Merengue as a preview, or the other way around, like both?
I mean, I think it'd be really interesting. I think you could integrate Meringue with a lot of IDEs if you wanted to, and so you could do previewing of like XML files as you go.
Yes.
But you could also use Calache for that, depending on. I mean, you could go either way.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That's all. I'll leave it there.
Thanks.
So a couple of questions too. Like, do you have plans for exporting natively Blueprint? Like,
No, I don't have plans. We can talk about it, but I think so. Blueprint, I don't see a specific workflow like supporting Blueprint because, for example, if you want to import a Blueprint into Calache, you can already do that. It's just one extra step.
It's more about being able to write both using the Calache UI, moving widgets around, but also to interact easily, like on the source side.
I think
going through XML, which is kind of annoying to develop.
Right, but at the end, what you need is XML because that's what GTK consumes. Yeah. Right. I think eventually, when both things are more stable, it will be doable and not a big issue. My problem is that if you add some fragment XML or if there's something that's not supported in then like going back and forward, you could lose some data. But definitely we can talk about this in the work. On Monday there's a workshop and we can talk about this. I want to improve the workflow of the creation.
What about constraints layout? Because is there any plans to have like a human way to use them? Through these?
I haven't thought too much about that. So no, another good topic for the workshop.
Do you have an estimate for when you're going to release the version that does not use Broadway, but uses that more native WL Roots thing?
Yes. So luckily enough, WL Roots, it's already in main. It was using a development version of WL Roots, but WL Roots just released a new version like a week ago. So, but I think there are some dependencies. So probably when Gnome 47 is released, because there are some dependencies that WL Root needs that are not met in 46.
How well do you support custom widgets? Like, I think custom containers, where you have a user-defined container with a bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah, unfortunately for custom containers, you'll have to... Calache will need the actual runtime object in the workspace, and for that you need to create a library that is introspectable.
Okay.
So if your widgets, if your custom containers are in a library that you can import from GI, then it should be usable. I need to enable the third-party catalogs.
Okay, so for all custom widgets, you need the GIR file or something like that for Calache to
Yes. So
they used to let you just sort of like create a custom widget name with and
yes.
add
So
properties ad hoc.
right. So what it's doing right now here, like let me show you. So I defined in my box, which is a template. So how I use it here in a different UI, since I have all the data, what I do here, I know that you specify here, and let's see, here in my box. So to Merengue, I have a special mode. So to Merengue, I send basically the content of the class of my box here. So Merengue doesn't need to have the actual class. But if we want, if you have a specific container, Merengue needs to instantiate the actual widget.
Okay, so you need access to the code itself. Not
Yes, yes,
okay.
and there's also support code for catalogs. So catalogs you should be able to load them with GObject introspection, and if you need special code to handle in the workspace, there's a class that has a lot of methods that Cambalache Merengue uses to add support. Like, for example, when you create it, if it's a container, it needs to know where to add placeholders, for example.
Okay, thank you.
Any question online? Thank you. And yes, I'm gonna push the source code for the talk after right now.
We're finished up in track 2 now, so we're gonna have a 15-minute break, and we'll follow up. Next up is in track 1. How can GNOME explore your concepts at 3:35?